From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBICB Primetime Capper, and it is time for the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I hope you are feeling the same. And man, it is a great day to talk some sports. I know I'm getting started a little bit later than I wanted to. I know I said I was starting at 1 p.m. this afternoon, but we are now here at 2:45 Pacific time. So it happens, but it's all good. I'm here. Let's go ahead. The show must go on. Just going to be a little bit quicker than it usually is. But up first, let's talk about the Bears win an ugly Monday night football game, upsetting the Vikings 12-10. What a game last night, though. Justin Fields didn't get any touchdowns last night, but he should have. There was too many opportunities last night for him to score a touchdown, and it just didn't happen last night. They could even score a touchdown there in the final drive, but they played it smart. It was an old school type of game. You know what I mean? You guys would have hated football back in the 1920s and 30s because these games were considered high-scoring games back then. That was the times for 7-0 and 3-0 and 2-0 and all that, all those bad, ugly scores. So we were set back probably about 100 years last night with the way that game was being played. But you know what? At the end of the day, you have to give the Bears defense their credit. The Bears defense had 4 interceptions last night. They were great. They were sacking the quarterback left and right. They kept the pressure on Josh Dobbs last night. They looked like the monsters of the Midway. And I told you guys last week on the show, this was coming. And everybody, you know, somebody even was in the comments. The Bears aren't going to take anything seriously, and the Bears aren't. It don't matter if the Bears are going to get mad. They're going to lose anyway. Well, I just know that I've been watching this sport for a long time, and I know how things work. And I know that Minnesota has a quarterback that's not a starter. And what happens when you don't have a starter who's really a backup? He's going to look like ass against everybody. Pretty much that you think he's not going to look like ass against because they have a game plan for that player. And you know what? At the end of the day, Josh Dobbs wasn't good enough to beat the Bears. Yes, he was able to help them beat Atlanta, but Atlanta is a struggle. You know what I mean? He was able to help them beat the Saints. The Saints are a struggle. You know, you have to understand who these teams truly are before you sit up in here and say that, you know, they had a real chance. But all in all, the Bears, you know, it's a toxic situation going on there. Justin Fields is back. He should be 2-0 back as the starter as well, too. They should have beat the Lions last week, but they slipped up, lost that game late. But you know what? They damn near lost this game late as well, too. Justin Fields had 2 fumbles that were absolutely ridiculous, but that was because the boy was a little woozy going into the game. So pretty much he was trying to put himself in a good position to, you know, get his team a great victory. And that's exactly what went down last night. I feel like that was the best win of the season for the Bears, and it was ugly. They didn't score a lot of points. You know, every point, it was all field goals last night, but still, they gritted it out. They went ahead and they won the game. And they showed that they love their quarterback. They showed that they like their coach. And they showed that they're willing to keep participating in an NFL season that most want to see them just start losing football games. But you know what? Men are better than that. That's what a punk does. That's what a coward does. A coward goes and quits. You have to understand, these guys get paid millions of dollars, and if they obviously are quitting out on the field, they're not going to be being paid millions of dollars anymore. These men do not want to lose out on those nice paychecks that they're getting on a weekly basis. Sorry, they just are going to play. So fans that have these dreams of these elusive quarterbacks that haven't proven anything in the NFL yet, you're just going to have to go ahead and keep dreaming, all right? Go play Madden if you want to go put rookies on your whole rookie team together. But right now, the Chicago Bears are trying to build something here. And don't interrupt what they're doing. Ryan Poles hugging Justin Fields last night was no surprise to me. They know what they want to do, and it's not what you want them to do. So with that, let's move forward and go from there. But I will suggest this, though. I was saying I was real heavy on firing the head coach, but I think now all they got to do is just fire the offensive coordinator and they can fix the situation. They just got to get somebody that knows what they're doing out there. So pretty much we move forward. Let's talk about the why the NFL has a QB problem and how it can be fixed. And that's perfect because that really does lead us into what I really want to talk about. People have to understand that we're in a new NFL now. We're in an NFL where the defensive players are running 4.4s and they're 270-pound pass edge rushers. They used to just be a good athlete with some long arms that was able to, get the leverage to sack a guy and be real tough, be able to do some good spin moves, be able to really, devastate offensive linemen. But offensive linemen were really much better players back then. They were much smarter players back then. And you know what? There's a lot, but that's the trenches for you. And then you have these cornerbacks that all played receiver in high school, and they all can catch. They can all cover. They all know how to play the position at the highest level. We probably have our best group of defensive backs I've ever seen in the NFL this year. And we have the linebackers who are a dying breed on the defensive end. Now they're down to two because pretty much now they use the edge rusher. He's not called an outside linebacker anymore. It's called an edge rusher. And then the two guys that are usually used to be in the middle, the inside backer and the middle backer, or the two inside backers and the slash back, the guy that goes on the edge, the guy that plays the middle, he rovers a little bit. Now that can be moonlighted as a safety, player that plays safety or a player that plays that's a big corner, and we call that the star position now. A lot of people don't even know that there's a whole new position in the NFL when it comes to the defensive side, and it's called the star position. That's a guy who can rush the passer, cover the receiver, and go ahead and be effective in the run game as well too. So that they have the hat trick somewhat of skills, and that's what makes them the star position, the star back, and that's pretty much your linebacker now. And your linebacker can moonlight as a safety, can moonlight as a cornerback. Damn, he can even moonlight as a defensive lineman sometimes. So that's how it's structured in the NFL now, and that's what happens. The defense is now smarter than the offense. Let's just keep it real. And there's a lot of people that feel that, oh man, this guy can't play quarterback. He can't do that, second and third. He would have never made it past training camp if he couldn't throw the ball. Let's just end that conversation right now. What it is IQ. What it is guys fearing to getting hurt. That's what the biggest issue is with a lot of backup quarterbacks. They don't want to get hurt because if they get hurt, they're out. It's that simple. They're so replaceable, it's not even funny. And that's what's wrong. The backup quarterback has no security. So since the backup quarterback has no security, then you're not developing anything here. And so pretty much what happens is that now you have put all your chips on the starter. And when the starter goes down, the starter literally it's hope and see situation, hoping that your backup has been able to really master the playbook. Back in the day, let me give you a great example. The San Francisco 49ers. They traded for Steve Young. Steve Young was a starter in the league. Starter. And they traded for him because they had Joe Montana, the best quarterback in the league, but they saw a guy who was struggling to be the quarterback he truly is because he was playing with a mediocre franchise. So what they did was, knowing that they had a quarterback that was a bit fragile, they went ahead and they rolled the dice and they went ahead and traded for Steve Young to have an insurance policy at the quarterback position. And sometimes you have to sacrifice going ahead and getting a good starter who's on a bad team to come be your backup quarterback. And we lost, and somewhere down the road, we got lost in the NFL. Everybody got to be the starter. Everybody got to be the man. But nobody can develop. And I'm going to give you another great example of when you let the quarterback develop. You draft Jordan Love. You tell Jordan Love, you're learning from the best. You're going to learn from Aaron Rodgers. We're not getting rid of Aaron Rodgers so you can, figure it out. No, we know what's up. Aaron Rodgers got a few years left in him. And when we feel like he doesn't have anything left in him, be ready. And that's exactly what he did. Aaron Rodgers did that prior to him. Now you can see the transition of quarterback. 4 quarterbacks in 3 decades, 4 decades for the Packers. Okay? Because they had the patience to develop the quarterback. You cannot develop quarterbacks if they're on this revolving door. You draft a guy, you only give him a year to get everything together and be right, or giving him 2 years to get everything and be right. You could bring in coaches with no experience to take on rookie coaches, the rookie quarterbacks. It's just you're not matching these things up well. And it's the problem why you're getting bad quarterback play from a lot of these backups, because at the end of the day, you're doing too many games on Thursday. Thursday games should be a absolute Thanksgiving thing only, because you're risking your season. Where did Joe Burrow get hurt at? Thursday night football. Okay, there it is. That shows you what the problem truly is. Sorry, Amazon. You might need to buy a Sunday game, because you're risking the league when you keep doing these damn Thursday games. You're risking your stars. You just are. Because now they want to have the best game on Thursday night. You got to have the best game on Sunday night. You got to have the best game on Monday night. At some point, tell yourself, we need to let these guys rest for 5 days, 6 days. They don't need to be right back on the field 72 hours after a game they just played they're pretty much their lives out in. You know what I mean? You got guys that are key players that miss Thursdays consistently because they got some nagging injury that they can make it on Sunday, but they ain't going to be able to make it on Thursday. So the NFL, you got a scheduling problem. You got an inventory problem. What's wrong with the NFL is that you have to have some patience. And you know what? Stop listening to your fans. I know that they swear that they're paying all your bills and all that other stuff, but they're going to show up regardless, because the NFL is the country's addiction. Okay? So at the end of the day, y'all do what you have to do, what's best for your franchise, for your team, not for some instant gratification. Because at the end of the day, the best dynasties were built. The dynasties that came and went, that crashed and burned, was because everything was instant gratification. And then by the time we started losing, we didn't know how to start winning again. So with that, we move forward. Let's go ahead and talk some boxing. Because boxing is the sport that, is actually dying. There's really nothing great going on with boxing right now. They really need to make sure that heavyweight situation goes well, or we're going to be up in here just always talking about what it was like 30 years ago. So pretty much, let's go ahead and talk about David Benavidez has officially arrived as an elite fighter with his destruction of Andrade in 6. And I know I'm going to get a lot of people mad at me for what I'm saying, but let's keep it real. David Benavidez' last 3 fights were against all guys with great resumes, and he hadn't had that before. Really, his last, 4 out of 5 of his last fights with Darrell, Lemieux, Caleb Plant, and now Andrade. Those 4 guys right there were world champions. They all were pretty, pumped up fighters when they were at their best. You know what I mean? But Caleb Plant's still a guy that's considered one of the better 168s. Andrade, a guy who moved up to the division, who was a great middleweight, a great super welterweight. So, pretty much the fight was really his fight to prove if he was ever somebody that we had to take seriously. And David Benavidez went ahead and ended that hype job. You know what I mean? He went ahead and said, okay, this is the mystery has been solved. We thought that the footwork was going to be an issue, but the thing was, David Benavidez makes improvements every single fight. And that's what the great ones do. They make improvements every single fight. Guys that live off of their pure power and intimidation, those guys don't last long. But David Benavidez, I've seen a lot of growth over the last 4 years. You have to understand, this is the same guy I walked into Jerry's World with when he was the co-main event. All right. So I am very aware of who David Benavidez truly is. And I thought at first it was more of a, gas up job because he's young, he's big, and you know what? He's powerful. And it's something that everybody likes a lot. But then as things progress, you see that David is very serious about being legendary. He's not just settled in on being a good fighter or a great fighter or having a lot of fans. He wants to be legendary. He sees it as the job's not done yet. And it's not even about Canelo. It's about conquering these divisions that he boxes in. It's that simple. And going down as a guy that absolutely was a MFing problem. So, you know what? Much props to David Benavidez. This was a growing moment for David as well, too. You can see a lot of maturity arised with this kid as well, too. His second child is on the way as we speak. He loves his eldest son, as much as anybody loves their kids, you know what I mean? So that's just something special to see. And that this kid, David Benavidez, came a very long way from what he was to what he is now. And so he may be one of the best boxing stories ever when it's all said and done. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But congratulations to my old friend David Benavidez for going ahead and taking care of his business. And he's one step closer to his destiny. I will say this. I know a lot of people don't want to hear this either. I would love to see him fight David Morrell, just as the fight that you use right before you get to Canelo. You had to fight Sotopopsky before you got to the Mr. Sandman. You know what I mean? So that's how you're thinking. You know what I mean? And I think that he goes ahead and disposes of Morrell early so he doesn't have to deal with him after Canelo. That's why I want the Morrell fight coming next. That's truly the biggest reason for that fight coming, is that you destroy him if you can, and then now Canelo, barbecue chicken, because we know the tougher fight is with David Morrell, not with Canelo at the end of the day. So with that, we move forward. Let's go ahead and jump into our final topic, and that's going to be Mr. Ryan Garcia returns to the ring for a tune-up fight in Houston. So pretty much big tune-up fight coming in Houston this weekend. There's going to be a lot of really, really good action going on. There's a good card there. You got Floyd Schofield on that card. You also have Shane Mosley Jr. on that card as well, too. I think Tristan Kirkuth will be on that card as well, too. He's a Texas guy. It'll be filled with a lot of guys from the state of Texas. So, this is going to be a good weekend for Ryan to showcase some skills. As they say on the cover right there, don't blink. You all know that Ryan does have one of the faster hooks in all of boxing. And, if he's able to go ahead and actually land it, it should end this fight pretty early. He's talking to the media this week. He's saying a lot of goofy things, but that's Ryan Garcia. That's how he sells a fight. That's how he stays relevant. That's how he keeps, the flame hot for the Ryan Garcia campaign of trying to make him a great boxer. But at the end of the day, I'm kind of sick of the Ryan Garcia show. I think that Ryan Garcia just has to fight. At the end of the day, he got the dream fight that he wanted with Tank. He did not perform up to the standards that a lot of us expected him to, because at least it was like, come on, you could at least make it a fight. And it was never a fight. It was always just him trying to show that he was a man. You know what I mean? And Tank was just showing him that he was a boy still. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? But I think that he's grown very well with his business mind. But at the same time, I don't think that he's grown very much with his boxing skills. And this is going to be a great look at Ryan to see if he still really cares. He can say he cares because that's what fans want to hear. But does he truly care? That's the biggest question that I have for Garcia. And it can be proven in this fight on Saturday night. And, I'm not saying this because I don't trust that he's a great fighter. I just think that, if you made so much money outside of the ring over the last few years, which is your point of even boxing anymore? If money is bigger than belts, then what are we doing here? And so pretty much, now Ryan has to show us that he's really serious about being an elite boxer, not just a guy who boxes and does some great social media work. He wants to be up there with the legends, the greats. He can't ever be Baby De La Hoya if he doesn't start doing De La Hoya things. It's that simple. So hopefully this will be the fight that he tunes up with. And then one of these big names that they said, the four and all that other stuff, that possibly pops up and you get that fight next. Possibly you get the Devin Haney fight. Possibly Tiafimo already said we're not doing nothing. So you know that where that's at. And then maybe you might just might get the Tank rematch, because you know what? I think Tank wouldn't mind doing it again. And I would say that there's a lot of Ryan Garcia fans that probably felt that, he would have had a chance if he would have just kept going. So, it made a lot of money. It was sell out again. They're good at trash talking each other. So, it is what it is at the end of the day. But with that, we'll go ahead and we'll take our first commercial break. And when I get back, we will jump into the NBA, state of the Lakers in the NBA Tuesday night. You guys stay tuned. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the PrimeTime Angles with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, we're back with the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. So let's go ahead and jump into our next topic, which is going to be the state of the Lakers. And we got LeBron last night and the boys getting cooked in Philly. That was absolutely tragic. That game was a cut you off game right there, man, because that was just ugly. 44 points. And they gave 40 points in the fourth quarter. That was the most points the Lakers gave them in the fourth quarter this year. The Lakers had a 70-point half and a 68-point half. That's just not Laker basketball. Seriously. The Lakers play far better defense than that. The Lakers play far better basketball than that. The only quarter the Lakers actually showed any effort in was the second quarter. And they pretty much threw the towel in the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, they just didn't care. Okay, and you know what? This team is going to have to start caring just a little bit. But, LeBron 18, Davis 18, D'Angelo had 12 last night. Prince had 11. Max Christie starting again. He has 6. Wood, 12. Then you got 6 from, Reeves had 12. Wood had 6. Hayes had 7. And then these no-namers got some playing time last night. Hodge hit a 3. And Fudge had some buckets as well, too. But it's tough to do this without Cam Reddish, who's became a very important piece to the lineup. Vando's very close to coming back. Gabe Vincent, you pay money for this guy. He's not here. And Rue is dealing with a nasal situation, some eye situation. He had to have surgery. That's what happened. You know what I mean? So pretty much he's out. So these are 4 players that you need in. You know what I mean? Shafino, he made his debut last night. He had 11 minutes. He didn't do anything. He scored no buckets last night, so it is what it is with him. But all in all, the Lakers just were bad last night. I'm looking at the stats right now. The Lakers were out rebounded 48-32. That's unacceptable. They gave up 15 rebounds last night as well, too. Very unacceptable. 11 steals last night as well, too, for the 76ers. So that's not good. And then the Lakers turned over the ball 17 and only forced 5. It's that simple. You're going to get cooked every single time that happens. There's not much to talk about here. I think that Laker fans really do need to understand that we're not even 20 games in. So do not try to blow the situation up. It's just that the Philadelphia 76ers were a much better team last night. I don't expect that to be the game when they get back to LA, but last night it is what it is. It was a Monday night. The Lakers is coming fresh off of a game in Cleveland. You know, they stayed the night. You know, they partied. It's LeBron City, bro. So come on, man. They go into Philadelphia, you know, a little sluggish, and it showed. So it is what it is at the end of the day. The next game for the Lakers coming up, since they've already went ahead and did all their tournament obligations, they'll be back on Wednesday night to play against the Pistons. So there it is. But they do play against the Pistons on Wednesday. Then they got a trip to OKC on Thursday. So they got back-to-backs Wednesday and Thursday. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But that is the state of the Lakers. So let's move forward and jump into our next topic, which is going to be the NBA. We got East Group C, and this game is going to be between the Bulls and the Celtics. The Bulls coming in here 5-13. The Celtics are 13-4. The Celtics playing really great basketball right now, really good ball. The Bulls are over here preparing themselves to absolutely dump all these big contracts that are doing absolutely nothing for this roster moving forward. This team is 3-11 this month. Absolutely tragic for the Bulls, who did have some real expectations this year, but it is what it is once you lose Lonzo Ball. So they got Boston tonight. This is a good game for them. Coming fresh off of a 9-point loss Sunday night. Also lost by 13 on Friday to Toronto and lost by 14 to Oklahoma City. So I'm just looking at their last 4 losses in a row, and all these games were lost by double digits, okay? And I think tonight they'll go ahead and they'll actually play against that number tonight. And actually 3 out of 4 were double-digit blowouts. But I think tonight they'll put it together and they'll get themselves a cover with the plus 13. Boston's playing good basketball. Boston's good, but you know Boston always slips up against these minor teams. They did get a good win against Atlanta on Sunday. They can wrap it back around. I think that they wind up winning, but they're going to have to do a lot to cover tonight. I think the Bulls are going to play a very, very game type of game. You know what I mean? They're going to really be into this one. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right, so we have ourselves the Bucks and the Heat. This is probably going to be the game of the night for the Eastern Conference. This is in Group B. The Bucks coming in here 12-5. The Heat coming in here 10-7. You have a Bucks team that's, you know, really, really doing their thing, but still getting used to each other. So you have this Bucks team that actually has went up and won 10 out of their 14 games this month, in the month of November. And then you have this Heat team that's starting to get themselves in a flow somewhat, and they find themselves right now. At one point, they had won 7 in a row. They've lost their last 3 out of 5, including the last 2 in a row. So this one should be a really good game tonight, but it's back at home, and they've been good at home all month long. They've been really good. They did lose a close one to Brooklyn at the beginning of the month, but since that point, they've been pretty good, but they haven't been at home that much this month either. So they finish up at home, And this game right here could be the one that they do set themselves up very well in. And why I'm doing that is because I'm taking them with the plus 155 money line tonight. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right. Okay, so we have ourselves up next, which is going to be the Wolves and the Thunder. The Thunder coming into this game 11-5. The Thunder 12-4. Wolves only lost one game at home. That was a few nights ago. Thunder are a surprise team. They're playing great basketball right now. They're fresh off of winning 6 in a row, and they just lost to Philadelphia. They lost that game by 4. Hopefully, they won't be too distracted by what's going on with one of their players as well, too. I'm not going to get into that because that has nothing to do with the game tonight. So pretty much you have a Minnesota team that started off this month with 7 straight wins, and then since that point, they've actually won their last 4 out of 6, and they are looking pretty good this month. They're 11-2. And they've done so well. They did have a bad loss against Sacramento at home last weekend, but now they got OKC, very important tournament game. They're trying to stay undefeated in the tournament as well, too. So we'll see how this one goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But I think that we have ourselves a really good spot here for the T-Wolves. And I think the T-Wolves wind up actually winning this game. So I'm taking them with the -3. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right. So we have ourselves the Rockets and the Mavericks tonight. And this should be a good one. This is another Group B game for the West Side. And we have the Rockets who are 8-6. You have the Mavs who are 10-6. You got 3.5 point spread over under 228.5. What I like here is I like the fact that these teams roll into this one with a cool, clean little attitude and things like that. But I truly do feel that this one winds up being a game that actually goes over tonight. I think, or under, actually. I'm sorry. I have this game going under tonight because I feel like the Rockets are going to play defense. They're playing better defense this year. And you got the Mavs who are playing better defense as well, too. And you know what? They're going to have a lot of moments where the game gets a little choppy. And so I really do feel like the under is a good play here. And it's really a 50-50 spot as well, too. It's a toss-up game. Can really go anywhere it wants to. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and just keep it on the under 228.5. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right, so we have our final game that I have in the group, and this is going to be a battle between the Kings and the Warriors tonight. And from what I see here, you got a Kings team that's 8-9, and you got a Warriors team that is 9-6. So this game should be a really fun game because you got a nice spread that says that it's going to be a close game tonight. And it looks like the Warriors are somewhat back to business with majority of their lineup there. The Kings have De'Aaron back. He's been back for a few weeks. So this should be a fun game. This should be a lot of fun. This should be good. This should be a lot of theater to this game as well, too. So I do like the over here. I think that they're going to be scoring a lot of points. It's going to be a game that's probably going to be on TNT tonight as well, too. So, yeah, I expect points here. I expect big-time play here. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. And, yes, it will be a TNT game. And also that Bucks Heat game, it will be a TNT game as well, too. So with that, that's going to be a wrap on these games right now. And when I get back, we're going to go ahead and talk those tickets. So you guys stay tuned. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the PrimeTime Angles with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash, and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, here we are. Let's go ahead and put it together and get ourselves right. And pretty much this is Talking Tickets. So let's go ahead and get into our first. And our first one is going to be the PrimeTime Pick 6. PrimeTime Pick 6 plus 12.5 on Howard to kick us off. Then we have Mississippi State minus 8, plus 17 on Ryder. Then we got the minus 6 on Kentucky tonight. Also, Ole Miss minus 130. And then we wrap it up with Akron plus 140. This is going to be a 57-1 ticket. Now we do the CBB Dog Day Pick 4, our first one of the year. We got Notre Dame plus 290. We got Mizzou plus 240. We got St. Louis plus 240. And then we wrap it up with Portland U plus 115. This is going to be a 96-1 ticket. You put $20 on this bad boy, you tip it. I'm sorry, you tip it, homie. That's 19-20 for you, buddy, right there if you go ahead and hit that bad boy. So pretty much let's see if we can get that one home. How about that? So that's going to be a 96-1 ticket. We move forward. Let's go ahead and jump into the NBA Super High Five. It's going to be 33-1, 13.5 on the Bulls. Thank you. We'll go ahead and we'll take that. The under 228.5 with the Rockets and the Mavs. Let's see how that goes. The Heat money line plus 140. Let's see how that goes. And then we also have the Wolves minus 3 tonight to get us a good solid win. Need them to win that one by more than 4 points tonight. Then we wrap it up with the Kings money line minus 130 tonight. That's where I'm going with that one as well too. But I also like the over 236 as well too in that spot. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. And that's going to be it for me for today, pretty much. So you guys can catch all of this on my YouTube channel. I will be cutting up the clips for this as well too. Is probably going to be just cutting up the first segment of the show. So you guys make sure to tune in for that. Retweet, share, whatever you got to do. Let's get these numbers up. But all in all, thank you so much. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll be talking some college football. We'll be talking some NBA as well, too. Talking a little college basketball as well, too. So you guys make sure to tune on in. I look forward to seeing you again. And with that, that's going to be a wrap on the Premier Sports Betting Show, the PrimeTime Angles. And as I always say, bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.